Welcome everyone. Norma Woodcock speaking to you from Perth in Western Australia. I'd like to speak into the readings for the fifth Sunday in Ordinary Time, Year A. And the theme, Don't Lose Your Saltiness. In the first reading, Isaiah calls for real concern for the poor and the needy. In the second reading, Paul tells the Corinthians that he relies not on human resources but on the power of God. And in Matthew's Gospel, Jesus tells his disciples that they are to be salt of the earth and light of the world. So we can act religious but not be real, or we can practice our Christian faith not just in church but out in the world. To be salt and light, bringing out the best in every person and every situation. How do we act when no one is watching? I want to share the story now of a woman who was arrested. And it's a story I read or heard many years ago, and it is very apt here. So this woman was in the car and there was a whole lot of traffic held up in front of her, and she was leaning out the window swearing and cursing and screaming and yelling obscenities and making all the rude signs and gestures that people do when they're in that situation sometimes. But behind her was a police car, and the policeman got out of the car. He went over and he opened the car door and he said, "Lady, come with me." And he took her off to the police station and ended up putting her in a cell. And time went by, and then he came back to the woman and he unlocked the door and he said, "Oh, lady, I'm just so sorry." He said, "I have made a huge mistake." He said, "I was behind you." And he said, "I saw that you had a Jesus sticker in the back of your car. And I saw that there was this cross hanging around your windscreen. And then when I heard you yelling and screaming those obscenities, those profanities and making all those gestures, I felt sure that you had stolen that car." Great story. How many times do we act differently when people are watching? And how many times do we act differently when people are not watching? And I guess that's the story for all of us, you know, when God wants to tweak us and he wants us to be salt and he wants us to be light. And salt in the early days was a commodity that was so valuable, and it was used for trading purposes apart from preserving food because they had no refrigeration. So it was not salt as we understand salt today, but something very, very precious, and to be light of the world. And so I guess the challenge that I send forth today is to have a look and just do an inner check when you find your behaviour is different when you're with people and different when you're not. And I know that for myself, this has been such a journey because I've discovered discrepancies in my own life that I always have to look at and tweak. So may God bless you this week. I hope you have a great week, and I look forward to meeting again with you next week. Thanks, and God bless.